So I know that conventional thinking would suggest that I should not have all of these trunks, well, running right off the canvas. This will be a painting that will want a frame. There's no question about that. What I'm going to try to do, maybe not on all of them, but I've done it so far here, and this one as well, I think, is I'm going to try to bring the value, or I don't want to match the value of these colors with these colors, but I would like to approximate the value so that visually your eye is not drawn immediately to the fact that these trunks go off the painting. I'm really trying to contain, the visuals down in this area more. You can see this now. Now that I'm painting more in the foreground, you can see that what I've painted in the background, because I don't have any really outlined areas, I've blocked in my colors. Now I've stepped them up in value as I've gone over it with the knife. This appears now to be more in the foreground, partly because of chroma and value, but also because the edges are much harder in the foreground. Anyway, this is what we have so far. I'm actually just going to grab my knife. This one was cobalt blue and raw umber. This one is burnt sienna and ultramarine blue and white. And this I'm going to use burnt sienna and raw umber and white. I want this to be the primary trunk for the painting. Anyway, we'll see how it goes here. Okay, I think I'd like it a little lighter than that. Whoops, I destroyed my dark line. Well, I'm just going to have to go and cheat, because I did want that line there. So I'm going to take my brush, a little bit of burnt sienna, and reinstate it. Okay, back to doing what I was supposed to be doing. I've actually got a bit of wet paint that I'm dipping my fingers against here. That's okay, I'll survive. Let's try to make that a little more plausible. Alright. And again, I want to have a bit of tooth, or I want to have a bit of a hard line. And this being a toothy canvas, sometimes it's a bit more difficult to do that. But we'll manage. If I were to match these values exactly to the background in this color, it would almost disappear into the background, and I don't want that to happen. Hmm. Okay, now we'll do something on the dark side. A little more raw umber. Kind of a nuisance when you're doing these little tricky bits, especially on large canvas, because the canvas isn't taut. It's not tightly stretched, nor should it be. But of course, it vibrates back and forth as you're trying to lay these tiny details in. Sometimes, well, they're not details for a realist, but for me they are. So then I have to wait till it stops vibrating back and forth before I lay something in. Okay, I've kind of obliterated the line along this one. So, I'm going to cheat. I think I mentioned a few videos back that I'm not going to keep such a handicap on myself. I'm going to cheat a little bit with a brush where I have to, wherever I have to. Because frankly, I'm getting older and not as steady, so I'm no old guy, but I already noticed I am not as steady as I was when I was in my 30s. Alright, now, do I want a highlight on there somewhere? Not much, but what I do have is very much the look of a hydro pole or a telephone pole where one half is light, the other half is dark. I want to intrude on the dark side a little bit with introducing a few lighter bits with not a lot of raw umber, mostly burnt sienna. What do we think of that? Okay, that's all right. Now, a person could say, with this much light catching this trunk before it enters this bush, why is this red not of a higher value? To which I could only answer, wait till the painting's done, because it's not done. Anyway, I'm just pecking away at it. Maybe I'll just call this pecking number 2. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see some of the textures on this tree and here as well. I'll just zoom in on this a minute so that you can see some of the knife work more in detail. And then I've taken the bottom of that trunk into shadow at the bottom. The bottom at the bottom. Okay, and that's sort of floating in the foreground a little bit, I hope. Bit of that appearance. And then we'll just go and visit the one that we just did. As always, up close, very rough. Backed off, it takes on its own character and has more of a natural look to it. Okay, thanks for watching. See ya.